Hi everybody, just give me a couple minutes. I'm just getting a few things together. Hi Em. Hi Doo. How are you? I'm a couple minutes early. I don't know what to put on here. Just gonna wait a couple more minutes. It's not 7 o'clock yet, but I wanted to make sure I had everything together. I'm usually missing something. All my pieces. Just gonna mark these up. Did you get anything done today? You're tired. Okay. Hi everybody. Welcome back and happy Friday. Hope everybody's doing good. I just got out of a discussion. Hi Debbie, thank you so much. You're very, very welcome. I just got out of a discussion with my husband. He wants a puppy, and I don't want a puppy. I just do not have the time for a puppy. So he had it on his little sad face. So tonight, this is the box I originally made, and as you can see, it's hard to see with the video because the base is 6.5, just about 6.5 by 6.5. So I thought, well, this was an experiment box, and it came out really good, but as you can see, there are some places I am one to be very sparingly. Hi Marnie. With my glue, and with this project you can't be. You have to use a lot of glue. So this was like a test box. I'm going to use it here in my craft room. And I decided for the video I was going to make it the size of a recipe box. So I altered it to so it would fit little index cards for recipes, and it would be easier to see on the video. Everything's great, Marnie. Have a safe trip. But when I post the PDF for tonight's project, I will also add the dimensions for the bigger box. They're made exactly the same way. The dimensions are just different. So what I decided to do, I didn't know what papers I was going to use. I decided, since this week I showcased the Peony Garden, I am going to use the Peony Garden DSP with the petal pin inside. And I used, I don't know, you want to call it chipboard, gray board, chipboard, and it's 1/16 of an inch wide. And just cut all my sizes for the box. And we're going to start with the flap, the bottom, the back, and the top. So what we'll be working on first is these pieces. I don't know if you can see, but these pieces here, it's all one piece, and that's what we'll be working on first. So just for some quick measurements, and I'll apologize ahead of time. Hi Jennifer, welcome to the group. If the video's long, I'm sorry. I'm still new at videos. Excuse me. And just so I can explain how to put this box together a little better, it might run a little long, and I apologize. So for the flap, that's the front piece. It is 2 5/8 by 5 3/8. And what I want this pink on the outside of the box, so I'm just going to flip it over. Do I want that? Yeah, I think I do. And that is going to be the first piece you place. Just so you can see how it's going to be laid out. The top of the box is 2 by 5 3/8, and that's going to be the next piece you lay down. And we are going to glue these, but these are the pieces that we're going to lay down first. Just want to see something. This one's a little wider. I'm going to use this one instead, because the piece is just a little wider, so we have more to fold over. And then the back, and the back is 3 1/2 by 5 3/8. And then our bottom, and this is 5 3/8, and it is 4 inches, so it's going to stand 4 inches tall. So this is how we're going to lay it out on the sheet. Just going to move it over a little bit. And what we're going to do is we're going to glue these down. Now for this project, I'm using Eileen's clear tacky glue. You use a lot of glue. Like I said, for the other box, I use glue sparingly when I'm making cards, and when you're making this, especially the inside, you really do have to make sure you use enough glue that this is going to stick. So we're just going to make sure this is, got to take the inside out. It's a new bottle, so I forgot to take the inside out. So we're just going to add glue to this piece, and like I said, you're going to make sure you hit the edge all the way to the edge, and we're really going to cover this with glue. Make sure it's completely covered. And we don't care if it runs over the edges, because it dries clear and we can always remove it. So we're just going to lay this piece down. Make sure you really push it so it sticks really well. And then we'll go to the next piece, and we're going to do the same thing. Add lots of glue. Now when we lay this piece down, we're not going to butt it up against, because we want a little play. We don't want a lot of space, but we want a little bit of play, because this is that piece that folds completely over the top. So what I like to do is grab a piece of, let me get one out of the garbage, grab a piece of the board and just stick it in between the two pieces and butt it up against and push it up, just so you have a little bit of an opening there. And we're going to do the same thing. Just make sure, whoops, it's really sticking down. I'm going to just move these off for a minute and quick turn this over. Just make sure this is all sticking. I can see right here there's a little bubble. You can always grab your bone folder and make sure that's sticking down. Okay, so that's your first two pieces. Then we're going to go with the back. I'm sorry if I don't catch your comments right away. It's funny, I'm still not used to making videos. And I had made one today of the waterfall card that I had posted, and my gosh, I hated the way I sounded, so I deleted it. Okay, so again, we're going to just line this up, make sure it's on there good. You can see the glue is sticking through there, but that's okay. Just going to take this and just move that glue out a little bit, because we just really want this to be able to get a nice crease in it when we're ready. So that's 3. Hey Nan, how are you? Okay, and then the bottom. And we're just going to, this piece is going to hang over, because we can put on a separate piece when it's finished. And plus, if you wanted to, where this is going to be a recipe box and you're going to put it on your counter, you can always put a piece of felt on the bottom just to protect your counters or wherever you're going to lay it. And I did go over on the glue, so let's just turn this around. And just going to wipe it off. We're going to be full of glue by the time I'm done tonight. Okay. So make sure that looks pretty good. Looks like it's all sticking pretty good. We'll turn it back over. Now we have to cover this. So we'll start in our corners. We're going to fold the corners over so it's a nice right angle. Just like we're going to be wrapping a present. And then we're going to put glue on this corner. Make sure you get the side and fold this over. And hold it for a few minutes. Take your bone folder, and we're just going to, and if it oozes out, no big deal. Just let it ooze out. Do the same on this side. But you want that corner to really stick. And then we're going to head over to this corner. Do the same thing. Fold that up. And then I'm just going to fold this, because now we're going to take this, and again, make sure you get this edge, because you want these edges to stick. And then we want to make sure we get this really good. And we're going to fold this over. I haven't used this glue yet on this project, so tonight is the first time. I'm hoping it works really well. Okay, so now we're going to do the other side. Just run that line. Make sure we have enough glue. And honestly, more glue is better. Like I said, I usually use glue pretty sparingly, and I noticed on the other box it was the wrong thing to do. So we're just going to get this down. See, the glue oozes out a little. That's fine, because it does rub off. If you get glue, it does rub off. Yep, looks like we're wrapping a present. And then we're going to do this last edge. Just going to get that to fold a little. Okay. Let's give that a few minutes. And it looks pretty good. Now, like I said, for the inside, we're going to use Petal Pink, and we're going to, I squished my corner, so we're going to turn it this way. Like I said, I'll give you all the dimensions, but just for now, it's 5, looks like 5 1/4 by 9 1/2. And this is going to line the underside of the box. And this is where I made my big mistake. We want to make sure that we really do put enough glue. So I'm going to put glue on the paper. Make sure we have all the sides. And like I said, it's probably going to run out, but we're going to cover this up really good. And as it's drying, we're going to start making sure that where it's going to fold, that we're not going to rip the paper. Let's just make sure we have enough glue on here. I'm going to turn this over, and we're going to line the inside of this box. I'm just going to run it this way, so we make sure that all that glue gets spread all over. And before it dries completely, and just clean this off. A little bit of glue. Don't mind my dirty rag. Okay. And then as this is still wet, we're going to start creasing very carefully and lifting, because we want to make sure that this stays. Run it down, find the next one, because this is the top of your box, and you don't want it to dry flat. You want it to have that curve. In the box, the other box I did, what actually happened, I had to put rubber bands around it because I didn't have enough glue to hold it all in place. Now this is the bottom of the box, so this you want to have at a right angle. So you just want to make sure, and I don't know if you can see, but you just want to make sure you crease that up nice and very carefully, because you want to stretch this paper. Make sure that it's at a right angle. And then the same thing with this. This is the top of our box, so we want this to be flat also at a right angle, just like the bottom. So just keep work while it's still wet. Keep working it, keep working it. You don't want to put a hole in your paper, but you want this to be at a right angle. And then this top piece is going to be your flap. So it's going to sit just like this. So you just want this, you want to make sure that these are at right angles, and you don't want to rip your paper. So this is what we have so far, and we're going to leave the bottom for right now, and we want this to dry and make sure everything stays at a nice right angle. So as it's drying, it'll dry just like this. Okay, now for the bottom, the sides, I'm sorry, these are going to be the two sides, and this is the front. The front is two, I had it at 4 7/8, but I took just it's a little below the 4 7/8, because when I put the sides and the front on, I wanted to leave a little lip on the outside of each, on each side. So it's just a hair shorter than 4 7/8. And then we have our sides. And it is 3 3/4 by 3 7/16, and then the top is going to be 2 inches. That's what this is, 2 inches. So the top of this piece, when this comes down, whoops, I may have to, nope, that's good. When this comes down, you have your 2 inches. And then the same thing here. I did say this was 2 inches. Yep. So 2 inches is going to fit here also for the front. Just so you can see where I'm getting my measurements from. So for the sides, I thought that I'd use the pink side and the flowers. So we are going to, let me get this out of the light. So this is going to be the piece for here. So now we're going to wrap these pieces. Again, just like we did the top piece. Let's add some more. I want to make sure that this is the, since this is the front, let's stick that down. I should have, just going to add some glue here. Stick this piece down. Get this piece glued down because I want this all to be one piece. We could do them separately, but it'll be just a little bit more sturdy. Get that top, and we're going to space it just like we did on the other piece, because these are going to be right angles. Just like that. And we're going to add the glue here. And add this piece down here. And you noticed I overlapped it just a little bit, so the folds will be on the side of the box, and the pattern is pretty busy, so you shouldn't really, it shouldn't stand out that much when the box is done. Okay. Now while this is drying, and before we wrap it, because I want to make sure it's dry, this is going to be the piece for the center. Now for the edges, for the sides, we want to make sure, let's see, did I cut this right? Yeah. Let me just make sure I cut this right. You know what? Let me just cut this a little bit bigger. Give me 1 second. Alright, now it's probably a little too wide, but I'd rather it wide right now. That's good right there. So you know this is going to be folded over, so we're going to have a little bit of an edge. So I'm just going to mark this here because we have to cut this piece, and then we want it to match up with this piece here. Let's see. Let's do it this way. I'm going to trim this a little bit. We want it to match up right about here because that's where this piece of paper is going to go, and we want to trim it here. So let me get my little trimmer that actually needs a bath. Let's see. So what did I say? I don't want to get this wrong. Okay, that's good. I just want to trim it because this is going to help us when we add this to the bottom. So I'm just going to trim that there, and I'm doing this whole piece and getting it all set. Then this way I can do the same thing to this one. Let's see. And I'll have the dimensions, everything you need, and the dimensions for this in the group tomorrow. I didn't get a chance to finish it up before the live, but I will have all the dimensions for everything you need in the group tomorrow. Okay, so that's probably dried pretty good. So what we're going to do, I'm going to just turn this around. We're going to cut up to this little corner here on both sides, just like this. And then we're going to do the same thing with the corners. What did I do with my glue? Here it is. We want right angles. Make sure I'm still in the camera. Yeah, it is a puzzle, man. You should have seen me the first time I did it. But it's fun. I mean, it's taking long because I want you to understand and explain exactly what's happening. But honestly, when you do it on your own and you have all the measurements, it really does go pretty quick. Okay, so that's that corner. Let's take care of this corner. Get all our corners first. Make sure you fold it at a right angle. Just like that. I don't want it sticking to the, and it is. Let's fold this up. I told you, it is a gluey mess. So, let's hop over to these corners. But, like I said, you really do want enough glue, because you really do want this paper to stick, and you want it to last. So, in order to make that happen, you really do have to make sure you use enough glue. And I did fill 2 little bottles, so there is no way we're running out of glue. Hit this one. If you wanted to do like an assembly line, this would be a great gift. Just take that glue there. That's where the glue came from. Okay, now we'll do these sides. Run the glue down the edge. I should have grabbed a new rag before this. I don't know how it is by you guys, but man, the temperature has been crazy. I think they said today is the last of the 90s, hopefully. It has been so warm. Oh wow, you're working on a quilt, Pan? That's the one thing I always wanted to learn how to do. I had started a quilt, oh my goodness, years and years ago. My oldest, who, I won't even tell you, he was born a long, long time ago. I had started a quilt when he was little, and I had a cat, and the cat was an outside cat, and it was a female who was not fixed, and she had her kittens on all my quilt panels that I had done. So that was it. I couldn't finish it, and that was the last I ever did a quilt. But I don't even really know how to assemble it. Okay, so we're just gonna tuck this in here. And just, like I said, we're just folding this present. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Am I off camera? Oh, thank goodness. I hope it is. I have stuff to do outside. I've been putting it off, and I just can't put it off anymore. Let's get this little piece here. Okay, it's coming together now. Add the glue here. So this is probably the hardest part, is just making sure all your areas, I'm just going to lift this up and put it on here, are glued and your pieces are nicely covered. And nice and flat. Do these last two pieces. This glue does really rub off nice and easy, so there'll be no trouble if it gets on your paper. It'll very easily rub off. Okay, one more side. And here we go. Now hopefully when I go to fit these other pieces on, they fit. Okay, so here is the front, and like I said, here are the folds, and I'm not gonna rub on that until it's completely dry. So it'll be, this is the front. So they're pretty well hidden. Just gonna turn this over again. No, we're not. I'll get a new piece. Okay, so now we're gonna cover the inside. We're gonna use the petal pink again, and this piece is going to go right here. Now let's make sure that I cut this. Yep. So this is gonna go right like this, and we're gonna leave the overhang because this is what we're going to fold to add, so it sticks really well to the bottom of this. It's going to add a nice border that we're going to use to glue down along with these edges to the bottom of that box. But we're going to cover it beforehand. So let's get these pieces down, and then we'll give this a chance to dry a little bit, and we're going to do the same thing we did with the top of the box, being very careful when we use our bone folder in the folds, so you make sure you overlap it a little bit. And I did it again. You saw me do that, right? I put glue along the bottom. Let's just wipe that off for now. Okay, so we're going to make sure that's all down nice. And we're just going to let that dry for a minute, because if you saw what happened when you lift it, it moves. So let's quick get this one on. I'll put my thumb here so we can make sure I don't put glue where it's not supposed to be. And glue this side up. Just going to put some along this bottom here. And line this and cover this all up. Do the same on this side. Again, I'm just gonna put my thumb there quick so I don't get glue the whole thing again. And glue this down. Okay, we'll give this a minute. Yeah, man, I have a brand new sewing machine right under this table, excuse me, that I have not used. That is pitiful. Okay, so let's just, I'm going to just cut this and use the same bottom as we did for the top. Just make sure I have it. I don't want to make it too big, but I don't want to make it too small. Hold in there. Okay, that's good. Okay, so this is probably dry, so what we're going to do is just, nope, see, it's not really. See that? Let's give it a couple more minutes. And while that is drying, let's add some glue to here. No, we're not. Yes, we are. We're going to have to put another piece in here after we put the sides on, but I want it to be nice and sturdy, so we're just going to put this in, and I know you can't see, but we're just going to put this in here like this. And can you see this? I'm going to just put it on the edge of my table so this stays in a right angle. And we're just going to do these corners quick. Just so we can cover this base. And like I said, we are going to have to put a piece inside the box once we put the sides on to cover the little flaps. But I want the front of this box to match the rest. And I could have used a smaller piece of paper, but it'll just make it that much sturdier. So let's put the sides in first. Am I still on camera? No, just about off. So we're just going to put these sides in. And like I said, we don't have to worry about this. We're going to put a piece, you know, you can put a piece of paper, a piece of felt, anything you want on the bottom of this. I was hoping that I would get my core board today. I'm going to make a matching set of drawers. I think I'm going to put drawers in it. I don't know if I'm going to make a shelf to match or put drawers in it. I'm not sure yet. Okay, so just going to make sure that stays. Just get that front. Okay, let's go back to this, and it's gonna do it again. Just gonna hold that down. So I want to make sure we get this. There we go. See, it's still wet, so you want to get these pieces up without ripping your paper, just like that. And then while it's still drying, I'm gonna take our scissors and just cut these corners, because this is going to get flapped in just like this. Give it a nice fold. Then we're going to do the same on this side, and I have glue on it. Let me just get this glue off quick. And we're going to fold this up, bring it down to the edge there, and the same on this side. I guess we should use the bone folder. Just like that. Okay, let's fold this back up. And we are going to add some glue under here. So we're going to glue these flaps. Just like this. Now you can see why I said we're going to have to put another piece on the inside, because this flap, I'm just going to see how that's coming up a little bit. Just going to trim out that corner just like that. That out, and then we're just going to make sure this is and these are going to be your sides. Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, either you to me or me to you, man. Once this COVID thing is over, seems like we've been prisoners. Okay, so now it's still a little damp, but I'm going to add glue to these pieces here, because like I said, this is the bottom and these are the sides. Just put a little strip of glue and a little strip of glue. Just like that. And I ripped my paper. Okay, so now we're going to put this on the inside. Make sure it's even on both sides. Pull the back up. and make sure everything, push that in a little bit. See where it ripped on the corner? Looks like it's even. Okay, now what I'm going to do is, this is still really wet. This glue does not seem to want to dry quick, which I'm surprised. So I'm going to just put some rubber bands around it. And that is your box. Let's just make sure I hold this for a second. You know what, let me take these off. I want to just make sure this is down on the inside, which it is not. And I'm going to run another bead of glue down this back. I didn't add a bead of glue down the back. That's why it's not sticking. So you see, I'm just adding a bead of glue down this back piece. Can you see what I'm doing? Just like that. And like I said, we're not going to worry about it oozing out. Really be more concerned about lining it up. Just like that, making sure. And we're just going to put these rubber bands back on. Now, where this is a recipe box, I think to finish it up, I would put a little decoration here, not necessarily a knob. And I have to admit, this knob here is actually a button. And you will appreciate there is, so I could, and there's still glue in here that I didn't clean out. But my dad used to have pigeons, and after he passed, I took some of his pigeon bands, and that is how I have the button held on to this box, is with a pigeon band, one of his. So for this box, I will not put a button. I think I'll put maybe like an oval something here, and maybe a nice piece of felt. I can still feel the glue is very wet. A piece of felt on the bottom. But that's the box in a nutshell. As you can see, it tore. Make sure that when you do your folds, this tore because it was still wet. I can still feel that all the glue is still wet, but that's why that happened. I'll just put a piece of ribbon on there, and that'll cure that. But that is the box. I hope you liked it. It was quick and easy. I mean, quick, it took an hour, but it won't take that long the next time. And I will put all the dimensions. I would go further on this tonight, but I'm going to let it dry for a little bit, where I already, the paper already ripped on me. I want it to dry really well. And when I finish it tomorrow, I will show you the finished product. And I will have all the dimensions on this page tomorrow. So have a good night. Enjoy your weekend. I hope you enjoyed it tonight. Remember, tonight is the last night. Actually, no, that's a lie. August 3rd, I believe, is the last day for the $5 coupons for bonus days. So I'll talk to you soon, Thanks for stopping in and spending your night with me. I really appreciate it. Have a great night and weekend. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.